Who else we got? We got the one to go signal here. We're going to go racing next time by. I saw another team going out there to lay out some tires. Now working our 19th lap of caution. Alan, you talked about race strategy. How many did they truly need to make it a three-stopper? Yep, and just listening to another penalty being called from race control. I believe that's a 66 of Marcus Armstrong. Stop and hold, yes, for avoidable contact for that incident down there in turn 5. We talked about race strategy. About 20 laps is what these teams felt they really needed to make this a three-stop race, and we are now in that window. Louis Foster was the team that was laying out tires and making the stop as the caution period wraps up. So we'll get the restart at lap 50 completed. Beginning of lap 51. Graham Rahal leads, Kiffin Simpson second, Kyle Kirkwood third, Romain Grosjean fourth, Scott McLaughlin fifth. Alex Palou is 18th. And the green is out. And we're racing again in the nation's capital. Keep our eyes on that car, third in line. Sam's Club, the sponsorship on that car. Kyle Kirkwood on the charge. One driver ducking down into pit lane. That's Marcus Armstrong. For the stop and go, avoidable contact. Kyle Kirkwood making a bold move around Kiffin Simpson into turn number 2. Kirkwood on the gas, and he gets through to the number 2 position. So now looking to go after Graham Rahal and see if he can quickly get back out into the lead and the clean air and put some distance on the rest of this field. Here he is, accelerating hard off of turn number 4, down to the braking zone of turn number 5, side by side for the race lead. Kyle Kirkwood clears Graham Rahal and will go back to the lead, and he has already checked out 3 car lengths a little further back. Romain Grosjean now finds himself under attack from Scott McLaughlin. McLaughlin about a half a car length behind. So around turn number 7 and back to the start-finish line. As we're more than a quarter way through our Freedom 250 Grand Prix. And Kyle Kirkwood reassumes the lead for the second time. Let's go back down by IndyCar Medical to Lindsay Zarniak.
David, we're glad you're okay. That was a scary incident, though. What happened out there?
Yeah, I just tapped the inside wall. I was starting to struggle with it from the beginning. You know, I'm dealing with my wrist and all these things, but I mean, it's no excuse. I just feel like I'm in a bit of a bad run of form these past few races, and kind of really need to figure myself out here these next few days. We got a few more races here in Milwaukee and Laguna, and I want to finish it on a strong suit because it's not been a good performance from my side. You know, I've really been struggling, and I really got to figure out what's been going on because I'm letting sponsors down, letting the team down, and I need to get it figured out.
You were working yourself back up there, though. Can you at least take solace in the fact that you are seeing improvement?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. We're making improvements, you know, especially this race is taking big gains, but, you know, I just can't be happening anymore, right? Like, I'm here in Team Mexico. We need to be getting results, so I got to get it sorted.
Thanks,
David, thank you. David, of course, mentioning he very badly injured wrist a couple of years ago, and it's taken a long time to get back to full form, and he still is discussing that in certain circumstances, and particularly on certain race courses, that wrist injury is still a factor. Talked with David during that healing process, and he said it was going to take a long time, if ever, would it to be able to fully heal, as we see Scott McLaughlin get to the inside of Romain Grosjean. So move McLaughlin up a position. He will now take over that 4th position, but you can really tell how much David Malukas feels bad about this situation. His rookie campaign with Team Penske obviously was supposed to get the nod with Errol McLaren. He did that, but now the light of his life. So that's a tough goal for David Malukas as we head back down to GP.
Yeah, guys, here at Reuters speaking, we literally just got out of medical. Number 1, I'm glad you're okay. Take us through what happened.
Yeah, I mean, got hit from behind. I was a passenger after that, unfortunately. We got a very lucky break. On my yellow, I already pitted and I went yellow right after, so really good luck there, but unfortunately, put in the wall right afterwards. I didn't see the actual incident. But I think from where I was, it was a pretty vicious hit from the left rear. Momento alma.
So much. So Edith DK joins Dave Malukas and Stingray Robb as three drivers out of the race in today's first and only crash so far. The other two yellow flags. Actually, we've had two crashes, the other two yellow flags, both for debris on the race course.
We talked about the losers earlier in the race. Indianapolis 500 champion Felix Rosenquist was running in that sixth position. Christian Lundgaard just able to get around the driver who sports the Texas A&M University colors this race weekend. And Rosenquist dropping back several car lengths now Christian Lundgaard looks forward and tries to get up underneath the rear wing of Scott McLaughlin.
Grand Prix pitted last on lap 21, has been out on these primary tires. Kip and Simpson came in and put a set of used primaries on. Along Grosjean with fresh. Those all drivers who are off tackle with Kyle Kirkwood and Scott McLaughlin. Right now, this race is very much being controlled by Kyle Kirkwood. He's out in front, in between the air, hammer on some great lap times. And there isn't anybody that from the group that qualified up front that has bypassed the cars that are on the off-pit stop schedule and been able to get out there with it, like Kirkwood has. Good fight for second, third, fourth, and fifth, but some of those guys are not on the same pit stop schedule with the race leader. Christian Lundgaard, for example, or Scott McLaughlin, not been able to get around the Robot Grosjean 2 and 16 or Graham Rahal cars to try and stay in touch with Kyle Kirkwood. The bigger news for Kyle Kirkwood is he's on his second set of his alternate tires, and he really doesn't need to push. He's pulling away, so he's able to draw away from second place running Graham Rahal, but also save on those alternate tires at the same time. Kirkwood across the start finish line. And continuing to post some of the fastest laps of everybody in the field, lap after lap. That was a 59.40 in comparison to Scott McLaughlin 59.70. So putting another 3/10 of a second on the closest driver on the same pit stop schedule to him is Kyle Kirkwood. Now, Grand Rahal is falling 2.5 seconds behind our leader. He was able to muster a nearly identical lap to Kyle Kirkwood. That lap time field, 59.4 for Kirkwood, a 40, and a 49 for Grand Rahal. Austin right on with, along with Grand Rahal. He is up to turn number 5 now in the braking zone. Rahal put a bit of a gap on Kip Simpson, who runs in third. What an adventure it's been the last 24 hours for Grand Rahal. In the second practice here yesterday, had contact with the wall. Damaged his car, put them on the back foot for qualification. Did not qualify very well at all. And took the green flag for this race back in 20th position. And a couple of those spots were gained because others had grid penalties. And were put back behind him. But getting off schedule on the pit stops, working a different strategy than everybody else. The caution fell in his favor. And here, the driver from Ohio runs in second spot. That's really what you have to do when you're on your back foot right out of the gate. Run your own race, take advantage of the caution when you can, and at Rahal, Devin and Landon crew and Graham Rahal with good electric spots on the car have done just exactly that. So, a couple things to check on. We'll check on Alex below. Championship leader back in 18th position. He's on the primary, the hard tire, and he's running 17 seconds behind race leader Kyle Kirkwood. Below has hit it 3 times in the race now. One of them was the pass-through penalty. He made an additional stop where they, I believe, topped up the fuel before this last restart. And we'll keep an eye on Alex below and what he's able to do to rally back from that penalty earlier. Marcus Armstrong, after his penalty, sits in 21st position, lead lap, but he's 36 seconds behind the race leader. After the wing repair, Christian Rasmussen also lead lap, but he's 33 seconds behind the race leader. Rasmussen already in 20th place. There's a pass to position down in the third of the field. Marcus Erickson getting around Scott Dixon. Nolan Siegel trying to do the same. Door open. broken by Erickson, and Dixon not able to close it before Siegel gets through. So that's a change of the 13th, 14th, and 15th positions. With Erickson up to 13th, Siegel 14th, and now Dixon back to 15th place. And that 15th position not yet prepared. It's not Dixon because Alexander Rossi is right there. He's knocking on the door. Goes in that 50 point of the 6 center of it, comes back in underneath that river with Scott Dixon. Dixon pins on the 7. Once again, Alexander Rossi focuses back forward. And he has Mick Schumacher directly behind him. And there you see Alex Palou. Championship 7, Palou came into this race with a pretty sizable lead over second place of 133 points. Right now, as they run on the racetrack, about 40 of those points would disappear. Should they finish as they're running now, though we've got a long way to go in this race before we start passing out championship points at the end of the day. One of the things I've learned about Alex Palou is that he's started out, but one of the things change at this point of the race, when they get at the end of the race, they always seem to find a way, and they were about to run back up to the front. They never take out for that driver at his good charge to Ray Larson. So Greg Rahal picks here from second place. Rahal on the pit lane from the second spot for what will be his third pit stop of the race already. And it comes just after completing the 60th lap. There's a little contest. Notice those in the corner with Marcus Erickson continuing to charge forward. He opens the door to the inside of Dennis Hauger, and Nolan Siegel will follow him through. And that is passing there for both of those drivers. Graham Rahal, that set of primary tires, went 39 laps. So a good sit for Graham Rahal. For the third stop of the race, he's going to come along in 18th position. Just behind Alex Palou, 32 seconds behind the race leader. Another look on the screens of that challenge for a spot with Howler trying to defend and Marcus Erickson having none of it.
There we watch it again. The Swede makes that move underneath Dennis Hauger. Hauger's back end steps out and allows Siegel to sneak by, and Siegel has been certainly one of the drivers on the move since that last restart. He's up 5 positions, into Will Power. Just talked about Alexander Rossi. He's up 5 positions as well as Marcus Erickson is up 4.
So the running order for you, it's Kirkwood, Simpson, Grosjean, McLaughlin, and Lundgaard, the first 5. Then Rosenquist, Award, Power, Newgarden, and Collette back to the team.
Erickson in that run position
We have 4 cautions and 19 laps, 2 different drivers in there. We will check into the first 3 laps at Grand Prix, and we'll take the Saudi from back 39 to 50. Quickly go back around here. And that's 51. We work to 63rd lap of the race. Quickly is extended to 3 laps of 5.2 seconds. Over Kevin Christian. Look out for the wing of his car. It's to the outboard view on the big screen to Kyle Kirkwood. We don't have much company. Look at that here, doesn't it? It's hard to look out that real way and even pick up any other car. Kevin Christian still under that second position, but it takes it back to the 21 right now. Kevin Christian crosses the start-finish line. A massive advantage to Christian. 5 seconds as it stands right now. On board Scott McLaughlin, running in 4th place. Driving the PPG T20 Chevrolet. It is 150 car start. Looking to break a dry spell that's gone on for a little bit.
It's just late in the 2024 season. Walker has been to the top step on the podium, and he's hoping to fix that here in the seats of our nation's capital today. Here's a step back on Alex Palou. 17-12. Well, Palou's that time just a little bit over that 1 minute mark, while Kyle Kirkwood putting laps in the to take about 59. So really a second, Kyle Kirkwood is gaining each lap over Alex Palou, who's falling back in the field. Well, Lydia Kirkwood hit it about 64. So it's going to be just around lap 100 before we might see him on the pit lane again. He's the battle for that 13th position. Scott Dixon holding off Alexander Rossi. Rossi really kept up there as he tried to make that pass to the down into two. Lost a couple of car lengths from Scott Dixon as Dixon stepped up for that right-hander and a long run down into turn number 5. So for now, Dixon holding off Alexander Rossi. That Schumacher right behind him. He's regained a little bit of lost ground from being on pit road for a long time earlier. We dropped him all the way over to the tail end of the field. So Schumacher now up into the 16th position, just ahead of Alex Palou.
Sorry about that.
And I guess every time in the SEC IndyCar Series, you say you're ahead of Alex Palou, you do okay. Now, we thought we were winning the run itself for sure. Lead continues to go for Kyle Kirkwood, now 5.5 seconds over Christian Simpson, but Christian did a really good job. Kyle Kirkwood putting on for 59.2 and Christian Simpson 59.4 the last time through. Goes down to 59.5, McLaughlin to 59.4, the lead got a 59.6. So all of the top, over 8 drivers are still in that 59-second mark. This is quite a job for Kyle Kirkwood. And he's just out there hammering laps up, and Allie gives advantage over second place each and every lap. Up to 5.3 seconds is the lead now from first to second. Lamar Grosjean running in third. After the great P2 result, the lead guy on the street of Markham, Ontario, the last APC IndyCar Series race. There's also happened to be another first ever street course. That beautiful Ontario City. I think the Kyle Kirkwood, he just needs a good rebound after last weekend's race. Had one of the fastest cars in that final stage of the race that threw it all away. They contacted the inside and taking the all through the outside. And Alex Palou having issues again. They have a problem with the front left, so he left nearly the pit box. They had to put him going down, put him back in the track to put that left front on. So two very rare moments on pit lane of the chase from that opening IC. And the lead goes forward to put Palou on that drive. So Alex Palou will be the car behind Kyle Kirkwood on the racetrack, but now he's a lap down with the race leader. Going to find some red on the car. Palou has it out there on a used set, the set of the Firestone primary tires. So he's on the soft now. There's another look at that pit stop. Watch the left front. Trying to get the rear field and drop right down before everybody else. Good touch by the team to stop him from driving away before that rear is properly fully attached. Now that's so easily done. Even more disaster than it was for that team. So today, 21st position, a lap down to the race leader. Kyle Kirkwood continues to just have that lead 6.5 seconds following the Christian Simpson. Lamar Grosjean, Scott McLaughlin, Christian Lundgaard, they're top 5. Then Rosie Crusoe, Warren Power, Lundgaard, and the rookie Kyle Palou, the highest rated rookie at this point, running that 10th position as we continue to watch Alex Palou trying to regain form and make up for so far in this race. I'm talking about pit stops earlier. I didn't look at the ball number. I was sorting now. They told me before, last 100, but it's going to be about lap 75 or so. Then you'll see Kyle Kitchen on the pit lane next car in the yellow flag. So we're at lap number 59 now, complete. We'll be lap number 70, so now they're far away. So 70 front runners coming back down the pit lane for another set of stops. Beautiful day here on Nation Capital. 86 is our daily temperature, our cap temperature. Really hasn't gone up much, even though the sun has been beating down on this road surface. And the ball is taken inside by a little Kyle Kirkwood. And he is in pretty well, sweet point forward. There you see Kirkwood and then the lap car, the championship point leader on play. That was just in front of the two to stop this team. He just came off the pit lane, having made a green flag pit stop at lap number 68 for the fifth for lap of row. And you'll see him ahead out. We'll see a Kyle Kirkwood as we see the market cam from the driver from David Waller. Not the pit putting on the third lap, but Kyle Kirkwood putting they have that package, so the Kirkwood being on the afterwards. There's other people on the pit lane. There we see the city between the pit lane, everyone on the way, come back down the pit lane. See the top of the way. Kirkwood, while we're in front of you, there you go. We're down on the very right. And we'll come back on the third street. And the accelerator came to the zone. Concluding lap number 79. That is 147 on 30. So Kyle Kirkwood. He's on the road champion back onto the field over the time. Kirkwood came in and green is on. He's trying to keep on lap 45 and is clearly very off the pace. There's 5 seconds down, just about 2 laps ago, and now we're down 7 seconds. So John Martin and a lot of them under the two paces. He also 10 seconds down in Woodgard, 5 seconds on the pace on later. Two games, so the other would be up the point, we've got the other 74. Somebody else is able to keep it on the pace with Kyle Kirkwood either, with the battling forward so far for Kirkwood and the same start times of the machine has been very good. You can see Kyle Kirkwood out about the racehorse. Now making lap 73 and 147. Starting at the top of the Kyle Kirkwood. That's their technique top 10-60. Grosjean is Grosjean. Great turn early. And he'll make the stop. And then coming back top of the third lap with IndyCar.
Remarkable times complaining about brake problems on the car, but they're going to go from blacks to a set of primaries. And that's going to be a good stop for him to get the blacks out on his way. We're going to be looking for those brake problems and there's some adjustments on the brake lines.
Changing down there to the top 10 as Marcus Ericsson gets on higher front, he got up lights off. So Marcus Ericsson, after starting 41st, has got in charge here in this first half of the race. Speaking of half, we've got the midway point of our pivot to the Grand Prix, and another one more line. I'm particularly surprised by Marcus Ericsson, of course, teammates with Kyle Kirkwood and Billy Joe and for whatever reason, Billy Joe will always have a very pace on the regular street surface. Together, you see the bars are going to be focusing, but it's at the top of the line as we went along. We want to move up to that 9th position. And the final round for sure. It's Marcus Ericsson, their last cycle, and it's usually very excited, right? They're going down 63 races for Ericsson. Last season was just pretty is fighting for that honor. And Delaney really put it out of this season when they get things over the other direction too. But they have to let it out. And Erickson got the shot to the field. So halfway through, the 2020 Grand Prix is halfway through. And coming over the 2025 Grand Prix is on the third. So let's talk about that. We have that away to try to do it all.
Putting six comes out of the top three position too. And looking so, coming with fuel jack in there, but he turns to be wet. Looks like cigarette, so looking something. No problem, sitting down his line. He's a pride on the radio. Very happy with the car.
Well, there, and working with this way, pretty consistent. They can say it's really good. Not something that's really very soft is that the early pit stops and say out on the caution drive, and something in their favor for sure. Taking it, some of the situations come out with 50, 15, and 60 shots that a lot of shots are not weak, but it's going to get some really good shots and ball run and take hold of position and really drive his way through the field as everyone else. Give him the pit stops on the day. And that's been a great sort of other shots that we get us out there. And Alexander Watson. And that's the 136 is going to be the 2 out there off the pit stop. Power Ward on pit road for his really drive stop. Alexander is on pit position. And whenever you see Power on the way. So the leader is certainly open. And when you see that battle over there, we're talking about moments ago, Howard and Alexander Watson. Watson, whoa. He took the net and now he's high from that rookie Dennis Howard, but Howard had some fans all weekend with very good there. But it's interesting, Watson, he's done that several times. He's had that over to make a pass and it's not better up. But that time he took the ball to the floor and got around Dennis Howard. And we got Howard. So that position to move out of the off to the back line. Watson started with a 2-3 position. And he's continuing to chip away at 18-24. We got a 3-2 on 3. Howard to left. We got position in the top 10 for the pit stop. If you want to go over here, we're 80-48. And then a scheduled service. The red one will see Kyle Kirkwood hit from the race lead. Here he is across the start-finish line. The left-hand turn onto Pennsylvania Avenue. Kirkwood went 39 laps on that first stand with all of those cautions. Here on that 39th lap and has then since run 36 laps. So all of this been the green. So certainly any time Kyle Kirkwood could come to pit lane, but now it's truly amazing. He's still running low 59-second laps. 59-1 last time through. Yeah, he's a hammer. Christian Lundgaard makes a pit stop. Lundgaard is in from the top 6 spot. So it's Kirkwood, McLaughlin, Howard, Rosenquist, and Newgarden now the top 5 as the cycle of pit stops continues. And this Howder will pit. Howder running in that 15th position. Will tumble through the field as now we see Alexander Rossi contacting that replay, but Kyle Collette. That's Rasmussen. As Collette just came out of the pit stop. That's right, you got that. You see Rossi running out there and making those bold moves for his teammate Christian Rasmussen. Nice pass, but a neat contact with that rookie Kyle Collette. Marcus Ericsson, Joseph Newgarden making pit stops here. We just talked about Ericsson a little bit ago from his charge up into the top 10. Auto Ward over shot turn 6, he's in the row. He started firing around, it continues on, no caution.
They just finished a pit stop as well, trying to get those tires up to temp. Just a couple of laps ago on that. Will cost valuable racetrack for Kyle Ward as he rejoins the field. And Kyle Kirkwood's in, and DJ's got the stop.
Kirkwood's going to go on to a set of sticker primes. It looks like the Shell 100% renewable fuel goes in the car. This team feels like they have got this race in their back hand. They're not taking anything for granted, but they feel good. They called that strategy exactly what they wanted.
Now McLaughlin the pit lane as well. We saw a half a round on that front wing for Kyle Kirkwood, the leader. McLaughlin will go to primary tires. Waiting on that fuel, that is the longest portion of a pit stop. Doesn't take very long to change 4 tires. It's the fuel that takes about 18.5 gallons. And you see Scott McLaughlin make his way back off the pit lane. Alexander Rossi right there. And Rossi will get around McLaughlin.
Felix Rosenquist, Nolan Siegel, Mick Schumacher also making pit stops here under the green flag. Will Power is now the race leader. It's Will Power who leads. Power's coming through turn 6 and now turn 7. And exiting off onto the main straightaway and across the start-finish line. So Power, the race leader, over Kirkwood.
This will be 80 laps for Will Power on this stint. He's on, or he should say he took brand new primary tires. And Alan, how about this? Ran a lap of a 58.7 last time. He ran a time of 59.5. But Will Power, a lot of speed remaining in that car.
So it's Power, Kirkwood, Rossi, McLaughlin, Simpson, Lundgaard, Rosenquist, Grosjean, Rahal, and Ericsson, the current top 10. Again, with a couple of outliers in there, still been able to stop in this cycle. Primarily Will Power, the race leader, and Alexander Rossi, who has not pitted since lap 47 of this race.
You talked about Kip and Simpson off the strategy of the leaders right now. They're doing a fantastic job looking inside that top 5. Simpson, the lead car for Chip Ganassi Racing, as his teammate Scott Dixon and Alex Baldwin in 17th and 18th.
Will Power's on pit road. The race leader comes in to the attention of the Andretti Global crew. The lead changes hands and will go back into possession of Kyle Kirkwood.
There you see Scott McLaughlin moving that little way back to Kevin Simpson. So Kirkwood has, now that it's said, it's taken back over the lead. Scott McLaughlin P2. Simpson will shuffle to 3rd. Then it's Lundgaard and Will Power who just made a stop trying to get those tires up to temp, running in the 5th position.
Alexander Rossi is on pit road for a stop. Otto Ward and Christian Rasmussen back in.
What a run thus far as we see several drivers making their way down pit lane. Otto Ward being one of those.
Rasmussen the other.
They will follow their way back in. I wanted to mention, look at Will Power where he started in that 12th position, slowly made his way through that field, is doing an amazing job this weekend. We were talking about last weekend, he started last in the field and made his way out of the podium. Another great run by the Aussie Will Power.
Certainly the Andretti Global cars have showcased on this streets of Washington, D.C. course this weekend. With Kyle Kirkwood leading, Will Power running in 5th. And we talked about Marcus Ericsson also having a good pace. He's all the way up to 9th position now. So maybe qualifying didn't go the way that they wanted it to, but they had the pace on race day for sure. So Kyle Kirkwood's lead is 8 seconds, almost 9. Over Scott McLaughlin. In fact, it has just become 9 seconds as he crosses the start-finish line. rundown for you in the field as we're just past the midway point of the race. It's Kyle Kirkwood leading, Scott McLaughlin second, Kevin Simpson third, Christian Lundgaard fourth, and Will Power fifth. Sixth is Felix Rosenquist. Laurent Grosjean is seventh. Graham Rahal is eighth. Marcus Ericsson is ninth, and Louis Foster is 10th.
In 11th position, Nolan Siegel, and it's Joseph Newgarden, Kyle Collette, Scott Dixon, and Alex Palou now up to that 15th position. Alexander Rossi, Dennis Hauger, Mick Schumacher, Paul Ward, and Christian Rasmussen, who just came to pit lane, round out the top 20.
21st, Marcus Armstrong, Santino Ferrucci, 8 laps out in 22nd. And out of the race leaders, VK, David Malukas, and Stingray Wong. 4 cautions, 19 laps. 3 different leaders, 5 lead changes among them. And right now, the lead for Kirkwood over McLaughlin is 9.1 seconds. He's adding to it every single lap.
I've been watching the rebound for Alex Palou after the drive-through penalty. The caution then came out, and the speed car pit lane, put him a lap down. And still been extremely quick. One of the fastest cars in the field has driven his way back on that lead lap and to 15th position. As we shuffle on your video screens from Kyle Kirkwood, the second place running Scott McLaughlin. So first and second both on the primary tire. And the next 4 drivers are on alternate. Simpson, Lundgaard, Power, and Rosenquist. Grosjean and Rahal both are the primaries. Big shout out to both of those drivers as their strategies have really played out thus far in this race. They are the primaries. Ericsson on the alternates, and Louis Foster. Well, racing. Currently running at 10th position. Had the fastest car 1 weekend ago. Has really struggled all weekend, but a good run thus far for the midway point of the race.
Foster had the pole position in the streets of Markham last Sunday and did a lot of leading in that event. Got trapped back in traffic as he gets here now. And on his way charging back through the field, just clipped the inside wall on one of the tough corners here and wound up crashing hard to the outside wall. Scott, no, that's Nolan Siegel losing the spot. Joseph Newgarden goes flying in. To the 10th place. So Newgarden down to 10th. And Siegel back to 11th.
Siegel will now have to contend with the IndyCar Series. That's been a great battle for the last handful of laps or so. Dennis Hauger and Mick Schumacher, as they have been dueling back and forth, and Mick Schumacher finally able to get around Dennis Hauger. And it took a lot longer than I think Mick Schumacher wanted it to, but finally got around. The driver really did a working leader standing, so two rookies down the river. And then, of course, that battle for the 16th position.
So here's an interesting situation as Kyle Kirkwood, the race leader by a mile, is now caught up on a group of 4 cars running just in front of him. Louis Foster, Pato O'Ward, Christian Rasmussen, and Marcus Armstrong, all just in front of the race leader. See what his lap times look like, see what kind of progress he might be able to make through these cars, and if he can find a place to make some passes.
Patience needs to be key for Kyle Kirkwood. There you see the 4 slower cars, the leader of the pit in the line, as Marcus Armstrong makes it down to the inside of Christian Rasmussen, and will make that pass.
Check down the leader's pit with DJ Clark.
Yeah, and as Kyle Kirkwood makes that pass, that's
available. We got added Simpson in a live, so we think it's a little bit more horsepower and become easier as we take down. As you can add up and have Kyle Kirkwood and boy, Christian Rasmussen had a handful. He had to take up and check down. He leaped over a couple of the bumps there, but if you kept wrong, we see how others do, they will check you out. and past the Indy Valley on the outside of the racetrack. Actually, he's just in front of the race-leading Kyle Kirkwood. That's in the last car on the lead lap. He's in 23rd position. He's under no obligation to pull over and let the race leader through. But if that is that race leading car instead, it would be difficult to keep them behind you for every length of time anyway. After Frank Jones in the round bottle award, takes here our leader, Kyle Kirkwood, getting around Christian Washington and putting him all out down. Just to show you the traffic news though, Kyle Kirkwood's lead was 9 seconds over second place, not that long ago. It's down to 6.5. Looks by being in the foot of this group of cars instead of being out there hammering away by himself. That's the race himself at top of the road, found himself in that quick position when he's going to go in the chase market. Now threatened to go a lap down. Kyle Kirkwood with 90 seconds of that quick to pass, and this is the first time we've really seen him use it throughout this race. Couple of seconds used there, so far alongside Kyle Kirkwood. He's trying to make that pass to the 13. We're going to down to the corner, and we see the three. It puts Pato a lap down, and then Pato running off into the runoff area at turn 6. 7 laps to go. We can look to him closer to the front of the pack, all the way to now being a lap down. Well, Rahal was just down that pit road for what would be a 7th stop, so Rahal goes back in 16th place. Now having made his 4th pit stop of the race, while the leaders Kirkwood, for example, have only made 2. That's doing a very good job, not only managing that field, but more importantly, managing those tires. 39 laps on the first set, 40 on the second set of alternate tires. That was all under Green Flag Racing. So now he's on their primary tires, brand new sticker set for Kyle Kirkwood. And set to be out there for quite some time as Armstrong makes the move, trying to get around Lee Foster and keeping himself as running a lap down as Foster does the over-under picking on Armstrong. That will allow Kirkwood to put Armstrong a lap down. Laps are complete of 147. So 57 laps to go in the Freedom 250 Grand Prix. And the leader, Kyle Kirkwood. Continuing to see his advantage over second place Scott McLaughlin turned away down. Now in third place, 9 seconds. So that was 9 seconds a little while ago. McLaughlin running with the clean air and the clean racetrack right now and hanging around some great laps. Now this could be key to Kyle Kirkwood to get around Lee Foster here to turn number 2. They're side by side, and the Englishman will get a lap down. Kyle Kirkwood will take Lee Foster a lap down to now 17 times. Remain on the lead lap, and now next to the door of Kyle Kirkwood, lots of green and green racetracks in front of him. And now Scott McLaughlin, the second place driver, is going to have to encounter all that same traffic. The leading Kirkwood just worked his way through, so work ahead. And it also beginning to come out of some pressure from Christian Lundgaard, running in third position. Lundgaard is closed up to where he's just about a second and 10 off of the rear wing of Scott McLaughlin. Another bit more power. Yeah, watching his lap time, he has been running below 59.1 last time too. One of the quickest, if not the quickest lap currently on track. So his full power runs in that clean air as he stops taking pictures right in front of him. That'll still be a battle for the 4th position. But out of the time he cycles through the remainder of this race, Will Power could be in position to get himself another podium finish. He could be. He could be. Might be a little bit of help from the final yellow flag, but so far, we've been green for quite a while now. Last safety flag coming out back at lap number 43, and here we are at lap number 92. That's the Power. Certainly putting in another impressive performance of late after what very fair to say was a greatly struggling start of his time with his Jody Global this year. He got back to that podium now, coming into our race here in the nation's capital. suit that the chief was working with, that podium came after a crash and an engine swap and started last in the race. Remember, Kyle Kirkwood just 1 weekend ago did an engine swap as well. He took that 6-pack grid penalty, gave him to avoid that coming into this weekend on the suit to DC. Matthew Sayers talked about power to him, swap. Erickson did that today or yesterday. They got engine swap, so he suffered that 6-pack grid penalty today. And there you see the battle taking up for that 4th position. Highest running kick in after racing car, that's Simpson, and their Kyle coming running down as we head back to the front of the field. Kyle Kirkwood, 6.4 seconds ahead of Scott McLaughlin. So that car just in front of Kyle Kirkwood on the scene. That is Alex Palou, just off pit lane after making another pit stop. So the 5th stop of the day, the 5th stop of the day for Alex Palou, one of which was a penalty. Has he just in front of lead-seated Kyle Kirkwood. Palou had gotten back on the lead lap and Kirkwood made a pit stop, but didn't touch the caution flag that he needed, and now he's just in front of the lead-seated and the last car on the lead lap. Interesting on that stop that Alex Palou had done with having to take on the front lap. He came out a lap down. Heading to stop the two, it's all big green, so as Palou comes back in, he was able to be in front of Kyle Kirkwood. That's how much faster Alex Palou has been, although he's been back in the back of the field. Kyle Kirkwood just came upon that traffic, but that shows you how quick Alex Palou truly is when he's out in that clean air. So 53 laps to go in the 350 Grand Prix. Kyle Kirkwood leads. Scott McLaughlin is second. Christian Lundgaard is third. Kevin Simpson is fourth, and Will Power is fifth. Felix Rosenquist is fifth. Marcus Erickson seventh. Lamar goes on eighth. Jason Newgarden on the side. And Nolan Siegel having a good run, running in 10th position. How about a fastest rookie of the race thus far is Kyle Collette. He's running in that 11th position. Scott Dixon works his way to the 12th position. Then it's Alexander Rossi, the other rookie Nick Schumacher, and Brandon Winhall running 15th. Then it's Dennis Hogger, Alex Palou, Louis Foster, Marcus Armstrong, Tyler Ward is running in that 20th position. Last weekend, Pariki, Vito, Maluka, Singer, and Rob, the final 3 between Maluka and Rob out of this race. Pariki 8 laps down, and the drivers currently 1 lap down. Louis Foster, Marcus Armstrong, Tyler Ward, and Christian Rasmussen. So now they're thinking ahead from 3rd place Christian Lundgaard, at 2nd place Scott McLaughlin. And McLaughlin with that traffic just ahead of him. See if Lundgaard can find a way to use that traffic for his advantage here as he tries to get 2nd spot away. Now as we continue to watch the activity in the Freedom 250 Grand Prix, let's check the babies on the up there and special guests.
I want to do what you're doing already, but we're going to come back to watching Kyle Kirkwood.
Well, right now, everybody's on pace, and strategy-wise, because everybody hopes still a long way to go. But we're happy. I mean, we have 3 cars in the top 10 and 1 in the lead. So, it's a pretty good one.
What's the confidence level that he can do it?
Oh, he's doing really well. I mean, honestly, I think we're somewhat responsible to grow the pace, so we don't know what's going to happen. Yellow and so forth, but a lot of things that could change. But so far,
Legend NPR is built to back up the legend. Mario Gray, Scott McLaughlin trying to work his way around Louis Foster. That is allowed Christian Lundgaard to catch those 2 as McLaughlin makes his way through that turn number 3 portion. Oh, and the back is checked out of Foster. Got to open the door for Lundgaard. Lundgaard getting around Foster, who's running in 19th position, and he's the 2nd car, 1 lap down now. So that is the race for 2nd place. Scott McLaughlin in the red, white, and blue, Sergeant Stripes, PPG, Team Texas Chevy, and Lundgaard in the papaya orange and black skins. Arrow McLaren Chevrolet, number 7. We talked about that double pit that Scott McLaughlin had down in 6 seconds as Pat Pickles was making his way through traffic, and as we watched the replay of McLaughlin getting around Foster and Lindgren following suit. McLaughlin didn't do that last traffic, cost him 4 seconds, so now that deficit 10 for Scott McLaughlin and a leader Kyle Pickles. This is Tyler Ward trying to get around Louis Foster. That's actually a really short position. It's for a 1-2 spot. They're both a lap down. Meantime, it's got Will Power, the fourth place driver, trapped in behind him. Watching you see ahead of him. Power now, he was ahead from his side. As he works his way up 7th Street to Independence Avenue. Power batting around Clifford Simpson when we were talking with Mario Andretti. So Power now up to that 4th position, and John had mentioned. Now they get around Potter Ward. And the game catch it, Christian Lindgren. Another impressive drive for Will Power. Will, 45 years old. He tried to get the inside of O'Ward to try to get one of the 2 lap cars that are between himself and his next rival for position out of the way. So Power running in 4th place and looking for yet another spot on the podium in the late 2026 campaign for the IndyCar Series. The Kyle Kirkwood from golf turn number 7 and crosses to start finish line to complete 100 laps of the 147 in our summer edition of the 350 Grand Prix. 100 laps down, 2/3 of the way through the race. And there's been a lot of fun watching Will Power work his way through this field. First time of the season, just had all kinds of woes, breaking issues with that car. Finding his comfort level with Greg Global after moving over from Pete Pesky. Power now sets up to get around the last car of Louis Foster. Now he will set his sights on 3rd place running Christian Lindgren. The key point on the lines of Louis has done extremely well on sound pace. Still has had several crashes, but come race day, Will Power knows how to drive his way to the front and is proving to do so as well today here on the streets of Washington, D.C. Absolutely. Full push, 100%, flat out, every lap for Will Power. He's a drop back to the really good with teammate, like it's Erickson, who runs in the 7th position. Strategy, Kyle Kirkwood on the primary tire, safety Scott McLaughlin, the rest taking them all on the alternates. So Kirkwood and McLaughlin trying to go long as we ride around the nose of Will Power. As soon as there's a catch of race of Christian Lindgren, there he is all the way down the entrance to turn number 6. I should say turn number 5. Get a view of the bump right here at the cut line. There's the bump. Power to 46, now quickly through to turn 7, and accelerating hard out to the main straight away, and the plastic cars in front, 7-7. Hey, what can you say about the performance of this driver, this car, this team today? Flex. So now what they do is certainly for Kyle Kirkwood after winning early the season of the Duke of Arlington by 4 in the win. They could have been in several races. Kyle Kirkwood dominating the other team. Head back on the pit end of the previous play.
Thanks, everyone. Change the check in and look at number 734, Christian Lindgren. Looks like he feels very comfortable in the car. Actually, making some jokes on the radio when he's taking a practice. We always a good sign from a driver. But he's not going to pit here relatively shortly in a little bit of time. And that should be the last stop for number 7 on the plane.
That's it at 178. And about 115 or so for Christian Lundgaard to come down to pit lane, so that he doesn't have to go from that. That was definitely the point of the race endurance becomes a factor. It's 83 new afternoon out here in the Lincoln Capital. These drivers brought to their fire proof safety training. And inside the first side with the hot engine behind them. Very interesting. When you have it going into a cool seat with Washington or February, sometimes it's cool. Now it's starting to get into the very part of it. How quickly, I want to see it specifically mentioned about how kind of the exact places you use it. Basically, you take with, upper body, conservation, and strength, which is the key to the race because you're physically working so hard behind the wheel, every corner of every lap around here. And that is even that point where the only one distance these drivers are on this type of approach. And it is very close. We talk about this racetrack leveling in, just watching the final third half. Pickett just laid down his fastest lap of the race. And Walker beat him on the last set, but Christian Lundgaard will power all of it going fast. Later in this race, it says this track is really leveled up, but we did something really fast. 5-6 for all these drivers. The track to tell you all you need to see on the big street without the rubber wheel on the racetrack. If you look at the high foot power down and look to the corners, you can see all that rubber. Very good. And pulled off. Which is supposed to happen. But, yeah, there's a very distinct racing line going off these corners. These high-powered Chevy and Honda racing engines taxi power powers every corner after. He's now passed the position off the center to maybe 2 on the series. Michael Singer and 6 position at a really close to go. Gets in front of those, so that that accurate paint scene is taking distance. Taking only like 50, but he's charge later in his races. How about the four ways? It's really good at cars. Charles Pickford running first. Will Howell running fourth, and then Marcus Erickson to the 6th position. Big back to safety on Luigi, going to go racing. Luigi continuing to another lap down in the race after problems earlier in the event with the problem shape for him.
The watching lap times and the gap between Purple Christian Lundgaard and Purple Power, it was 3.5 seconds. Will has it down to about 2 seconds now, so certainly closing the gap, chopping away at it little by little, with one final pit stop on this door caution.
And Lundgaard with the car of Scott McLaughlin, the second place runner, just in front of him. Here's Scott Dixon on pit road for the stop. Dixon will pit here at lap 106 with 41 to go.
So Dixon sits on pit lane in the Wolfpack, waiting for the 18.5 gallons of fuel on Scott Dixon is down the way. Final stop of the day. Ford Dixon needs to go 40 more laps.
Watching how it's going, the championship leader starting today. Jose was set back when he bumped the tire laid out by another car on the pit lane and had a passenger penalty. The drop came from 6th to 21st. Had a little left front issue on his pit stop at lap 67. But all managing to get back on the lead lap. And he is chasing the rookie Dennis Howler to see if he can pick up the 15th position.
Just on that stop from Scott Dixon's Wolfpack crew. They are part of that pit stop championship. The crews battle for the best pit stop crew on the 25 cars, and it's currently Scott McLaughlin's crew that leads. Chip Ganassi and Scott Dixon's car number 9, 6 points out of that championship lead. So pit stop's very important for these crews as well in the late stages of this race.
So 2nd, 3rd, and 4th getting closer together. on the race course. Marcus Armstrong coming through the frame first is running the first car. The second car, one lap down. He's in 18th position. Then you got Walker, Woodard, and Powers, second, third, and fourth. And the Power continuing to close in. Steven Simpson wide and losing a spot to Marcus Ericsson. So Ericsson up to 5th and Simpson falling back to 6th place.
Now we have all three of the global cars in the top 5 with that pass of Marcus Ericsson over Kevin Simpson.
Out the back of the Ericsson car, which is only for 37 to go. So at this point, the pit window is open for anyone to make it from here to the finish on fuel. We'll see some probably take a shot at it earlier in the window than later, and then of course the danger zone begins. The longer you stay out after somebody else has pitted if you're one of the front runners. And should caution flag come out.
There you go. Will Power has done it. Has caught Christian Lundgaard. Has taken that 3.5 second deficit and turned it down into a half a second. Will Power charging to the front. Makes his way to the left-hander, turn number 7, closing in on the rear wing of Christian Lundgaard. The battle for third and twos as they enter turn 1.
So at this point, the real key for Lundgaard is his exit of turn 4. Because turn 5 is shown to be the best passing place on the race course today. So they come down here to turn number 2, over the Pennsylvania Avenue. And up 9th Street. And left onto Constitution Avenue at turn 3. Then the key corner. Get a run off Constitution onto 7th Street to keep Power at bay. Marcus Ericsson and Romain Grosjean come to pit lane for their final stops.
There you see Marcus Ericsson on pit lane. His final run will be on alternate tires. Good stop will be Enrique Lopez. He is down the way.
And the race leader is on pit lane. Kyle Kirkwood comes in for what should be his last stop, DJ.
Yeah, this looks like it's pretty straightforward for the Andretti Global crew. Onto a set of sticker blacks, and he's going to get out and on his way after getting that Shell 100% renewable fuel. No changes for Kyle Kirkwood.
Interesting call for that pretty global crew. That sales club Honda. They went to primaries for the final stint. So the blacks will take Kyle Kirkwood the rest of the way with his primary tires of Will Power. And Christian Lundgaard still battling for that third position, now second position. Kirkwood from the pit lane. Making their way wide open. And now it's down to turn number 5. And McLaughlin just in front of Christian Lundgaard. And McLaughlin now moving over. Kirkwood settling out.
Kevin Simpson has been on the mid lane for his final stop on. It's been a very solid day for Simpson. So here come McLaughlin, Lundgaard, and Kirkwood. The turn 1 pit lane is at driver's left exiting this corner. No takers this time for those three.
And then we'll see Marcus Ericsson cycling in and going wheel to wheel down the tunnel.
That was with 13 and 14 positions. Going down Walker is running 14 seconds ahead of Kyle Kirkwood. So the green flag picks up. Will absolutely get the race lead with about 28.9 second pit lane time necessary for pit stop. There's a new order. We have Joseph Chris, Kyle Clark, Dennis Howard in for final stops.
Watching leader shot, nearly contact with Grosjean. And he made the door to the leader for the final time. That's Grosjean coming through with power, having just come from the pit lane. So Lundgaard is in for his final stop. No single for the final time of the day. And now with power, just wanted to get around Romain Grosjean as taking past the lap time of 16 as Lundgaard down on pit lane. And unfortunately for Will Power, he has Romain Grosjean holding up and hanging out. Grosjean is on fresh tires just off the pit lane. Power's been out there since lap 81. So that's the difference between those two cars. Will not be able to clear Grosjean. And Romain came on pit lane. She's out the water, giving up the next lead for our pit stop. Along with his image driver, no leads the pit lane.
There you see Scott McLaughlin, PPG Chevrolet for Pennsylvania. All the tires are final time, a packet full of fuel, and Scott McLaughlin on Grand Prix traveling over the final time. 33 laps to the end of Scott McLaughlin. And there you see Christian Lundgaard. Well, we're losing the pit number 2 on that one back to about 3 points. And the one point to win those tires up to 10.
Yeah, because they were quick to get in there. Alexander Rossi and Schumacher in for final pit stops. As Kyle Kirkwood comes to turn number 6, he's second now to Will Power. 12 seconds behind Power as Power is the race leader. He bypasses the pit lane one more time. And runs down to turn number 2. Where some of those cars just came off the pit lane and will be tracking in front of the race leader Power.
Now a good time is Eddie to bring Will Power in. He does not want to come up onto that lap traffic and it cost him any more time out on the track. He was able to clear Romain Grosjean. So Will Power come in this time through. Through turn number 5 is Will Power, who is literally 15 seconds ahead of Kyle Kirkwood. Will certainly lose that lead to Kirkwood. But does now get held up on this final stop for the TWG Honda with Eddie Williams.
He's 25 seconds ahead of Scott McLaughlin, so that's not enough to keep that spot with a full fuel fill. But he's seen that traffic and he's got it quite a bit anyway. So Powers is up to the lead. And is it, DJ?
Will Power's team trying to use overtake on that last run. Looks like there's going to be no adjustments. They are going to set all the alternates there. There was a lot of conversation on the radio on what they'd go to, but it was a set of reds for Power.
Will Power down the road for the final time as he races down pit lane. And going to reheat those tires and makes his way onto the streets of D.C. There you see Scott McLaughlin. There you see Christian Lundgaard. He will try to go in front of Christian Lundgaard. Lundgaard too fast for Power. Will fall in. That will be the battle for the final position on the podium. So Will Power needs to get his tires up to 10. And we will see how he fares in these last 31 laps. Here in the 52-50 Grand Prix.
So Kyle Kirkwood resumes the lead. He's got 11 seconds on second place Scott McLaughlin. Christian Lundgaard is third. Will Power is fourth. And then another 17 seconds back is Marcus Ericsson, who runs fifth. Felix Rosenquist is sixth. Alex Palou is up to seventh. Keeping 6 in his 8th. Alex Sears on the Jason Lundgaard runs in the 10th position.
Scott Dixon currently running in that 11th position. Rookie Kyle Palou doing a great job today, running 12th. And Alexander Rossi, Rick Schumacher, Romain Grosjean, your top 15. And it's Graham Rahal, Dennis Hauger, Louis Foster, Marcus Armstrong, and Pato O'Ward. Armstrong a lap down, so too Pato O'Ward. Rasmussen in the 21st position. He's a lap down. Ferrucci 10 laps down. And the cars on the race leaders retained in Leviticus and Stingray Ryan.
So let's talk about championship for just a minute with Alex Palou having the difficulties he's had today. He's running in 7th
second right now, but he still needs another pit stop to make the finish of this race. Kyle Kirkwood should be done. And Kyle out in front, working on collecting almost maximum points. If he won the pole, he would have collected maximum points. But he's going to need the most laps in this race. It shouldn't hang on to win. It's going to be about as good a day as Kirkwood could have hoped for after Pelot started on pole position here in our Freedom 250 Grand Prix. So the championship will have a couple of races, 3 races to go after we leave the nation's capital. A doubleheader next weekend on the Milwaukee Mile, our oval track in Wisconsin. And then the season finale later the weekend at the beautiful 11-10 race day of Laguna Seca in Monterey, California.
Well, leader trying to negotiate around the rookie Dennis Howler. He will get alongside and he will complete that pass down into turn number 5. Now, Louis Foster, the next driver that he needs to try to put a lot down as Kirkwood pulls away about a half a car length there, about a full car length for Dennis Howler. 8.7 seconds ahead of second place running Scott McLaughlin. Your leaders, Kyle Kirkwood with 20 laps to go.
Loud as shit.
17 cars on the lead lap at this point in our Freedom 250 Grand Prix. Marcus Ericsson has been the biggest mover of the race, up 16 places. From where he took the green 21st on the grid, running in 5th position now. Solid day for Felix Rosenquist as well, running just outside the top 5. And taking the cap for Kevin Simpson, who after the crashing qualifications late yesterday afternoon, and a little strategy made by his crew is in position to perhaps score a top 10 finish in the final lap of this race.
He can keep everything together. Should be like his teammate Alex Pelot. And will put him in that 7th position. And anything can happen. Still 28 laps, 27 laps this time through for Kyle Kirkwood. As he makes his way through turn number 7, has yet to catch Louis Foster. Trying to put Foster down a lap once again.
Out of turn number 1, and racing down Pennsylvania Avenue is racing Kyle Kirkwood. Just dominant today so far for this driver and this team.
And there you see the stars portion
On the lower part of the video screen, the stripes portion of the infield on the top, and you fans have been fantastic. So grateful for you making us a part of your weekend and joining us for this historic race, the Freedom 250 Grand Prix here on the streets of Washington, D.C. Now, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th will continue to be the action spot, I believe, in these final laps to fight for the final podium position. For now, Will Power not able to stay right with Christian Lundgaard, but he's within striking distance. If he's able to generate a little pace here in these closing laps as the wear goes on the tires on McLaughlin and Lundgaard, if Power is able to maintain a little more pace than them, he might be able to challenge for that final podium spot. But for now, there they are, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. As Louis Foster comes to pit lane for what will be his final stop of our race.
And good news for Kyle Kirkwood. I would imagine that radio communication, Foster has to come in soon, no need to attack. So Kyle Kirkwood put it into cruise control. Up 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Christian Lundgaard came in a lap earlier than Scott McLaughlin, and then Will Power came in several laps later. We saw that race off the pit lane, but to your point, Alan, Power not really able to keep the pace that Lundgaard has had. He was only about 3 car lengths back, and now has fallen nearly the full 2 seconds. Now a second for Will Power off the pace of Christian Lundgaard, and we have a full yellow.
7-second lead.
Oh,
Kyle Kirkwood is erased.
Oh no.
That is the championship leader.
What happened to Alex Pelot? The right-hander off of turn number 4. I nearly guarantee he clipped that wall as he made that turn. Indeed he did. Knocked that, just might have lost that back end. And damage to the front wing for our championship points leader, Alex Pelot. Yeah, you saw the car get upset. May have just clipped
the apex of that wall, and that forced that car around. He tried to save it and damaged that front wing. So let's reset everything, race fans. Caution number 5, and it's for our championship points leader, Alex Palou.
Well, not only does this day have big implications in Kyle Kirkwood's hopes, you see that wing is trapped under the front tire of the Palou car, that left front not turning at all. But he's going to try all he can to get that thing back around to the attention of his team.
He needed to make one more pit stop, but that's not how he wanted it to happen.
Yeah, exactly. But the championship implications are one thing. Now the other is for this race. Kyle Kirkwood's 7-second lead is gone. Yeah, that car's not going to continue. His left rear tire looks like it's some suspension broken there as well, wobbling all over the place.
What a rarity, especially this late in the race. Alex Palou, 6 wins, 7 poles on our 2026 campaign, bringing out our 5th caution of the afternoon. And there you see the contact.
Yeah, left rear suspension damage also, it looks like, on the 10 car. At least it looked like that thing was wobbling around. And Chip Ganassi Racing team goes to work. And yes, they have more work to do on the left rear corner of that number 10 machine.
Well, I didn't see that one on my bingo card.
Well, it's something everybody's been saying all weekend is in these street races, chaos sometimes happens. And you wouldn't have thought, but yes, the chaos has happened a lot around Alex Palou today in this race.
And then you see the toe link of that car indeed broken.
Through working at both ends of the machine, one part of the crew replacing that nose piece, front wing section, the other going to work to fix the damage on the rear suspension. And so the pace car gathers up Kyle Kirkwood with 23 laps to go.
So if he had a spin in turn 4, that's where it all unfolded. But damage to that left rear, I don't believe he made contact after he spun. He must have hit the wall earlier in the course, maybe in turn number 3, and then turn 3, and then continued on through turn number 4, was able to drive it through. And then as he exited turn number 4, lost the back of the car with that toe link damage.
I'd love to see that replay again a little earlier today, just to see if we can confirm what exactly happened there for Alex Palou. But the car is still sitting. Anthony Calhoun is down in the Ganassi pit.
Yeah, guys, here with Alex Palou, and we're told just moments ago they had a broken toe link. So here's the plan. They're working on the car as of right now, trying to work their way back out there on the track here. So he's not done just yet. He's still trying to figure out a way to get some more points, but he's going to try their best to get back out here on this street course here to try to continue in this race.
Basically, the one that he's racing right now is Santino Ferrucci. Ferrucci's 9 laps down, and as Palou's crew works on that, if they can keep him less than 9 laps down, then he'll save that one position and the championship points that go with that one spot in the race. He's not going to fall any further down than Ferrucci because the 3 cars in the field behind Ferrucci in the standings have all been out of the races very early on.
So currently 1 lap down is Alex Palou, and his hopes that that crew can fix that rear toe link on the left end of that car and get him back up into track 2 on its point. Santino Ferrucci still 9 laps down, as now Kyle Kirkwood's 12-second lead has all gone away.
So Palou rolling from the pit lane and back out onto the race course.
Actually 3 laps down.
Yep.
So that crew did a good job getting that toe link on the left rear repaired. So what does this mean in the strategy? We've got Kyle Kirkwood, the fastest car in the field all day long on primary tires. second, third, fourth, and fifth, all under softer yet quicker alternate tires.
Well, so far in the race, nobody has shown the ability to stay with Kyle Kirkwood except Alex Palou when he was up there earlier in the race. So can Scott McLaughlin or Christian Lundgaard or Will Power muster up a little more of a challenge to the guy that's leading the race than they've been able to so far is what question remains to be answered.
Adam O'Rourke, Christian Rasmussen, both coming back down, putting that in one final time.
Those were cars that are not on the lead lap that have to pass through the pit lane and be positioned at the back of the field because we're inside 25 laps to go in the race.
They were in the middle of the field, so indeed that is correct. So to keep the lap cars from holding up the proceedings, they have been moved to the rear end of the field. What a beautiful sight. And we expect a fantastic finish to this, the Freedom 250 Grand Prix.
This is a camera at the Washington Monument looking back on the National Mall in our Grand Prix course. How about that?
Stunning.
All right, 1 to go is the signal. So we're going racing next time by. The restart will come with 19 to go. And no lap cars separating anybody, racing for spots. We've got 15 on the lead lap. They're all nose to tail on the race course. And I think that, as sometimes happens in these races when you get a late caution, it brings more caution. We may not have seen the last of the yellow flags. We'll find out.
I will say the one person I think this really benefits is Will Power. Just lost touch with Christian Lundgaard in these final stages, but really had to push to catch Lundgaard. So now Will Power was more pushed to pass than Christian Lundgaard. He has 67 seconds, Lundgaard 55, McLaughlin 46, and Kyle Kirkwood with 42. The field making their way through this final portion of the course. The pace car pulling away. And Kyle Kirkwood through turn number 6 now sits up through turn number 7. 19 laps to go this time by.
Green flag is out, and Kirkwood does not get one away from McLaughlin. Into turn 1, a challenge for a race lead. And McLaughlin bounces off the wall, trying to make that pass.
Severe damage, substitute village, Rosenquist around. Field making their way down into turn number 2, so McLaughlin was damaged. Rosenquist was damaged. Full course caution on the course.
Oh, he went for it. McLaughlin went for it. It just didn't work out. Kirkwood didn't get away from him right away. He knew he had to pounce right then. He tried it in turn 1. It just didn't work out for Scott McLaughlin.
He has talked all weekend how important this race was to him to win, and took advantage of that small opening that he had. Made heavy contact with the outside retaining wall in turn number 1. There you see the damage to the front right of that car, the rear wide of that car, and Scott McLaughlin's day is over. Here's the run, and the Kyle Kirkwood moved to the outside. McLaughlin took advantage of it. Now just ran out of room.
He tried to make a pass at a place where we haven't seen many passes. He knew he had to gas it up, and he caught that tire pack. Just ran out of room, and you see the damage to the other 3 cars. Again, what this race means to people to be the winner of the Freedom 250 Grand Prix, nobody's going to remember who finished second. He went for it. He saw that Kirkwood didn't get away from him right away, and he took his shot in that first corner. Now, behind them, that was Rosenquist, who might have caught a piece of that tire barrier wrap that McLaughlin ripped off. And there the end result for Felix Rosenquist.
Right along with Christian Lundgaard, who started 3rd. You see McLaughlin in the wall, and Lundgaard with a great run, nearly a car length behind Kyle Kirkwood. Here we see a vantage point from the rear wing of Kyle Kirkwood. There goes Scott McLaughlin. That back end just stepped out, carrying way too much speed into turn number 1. What a tough finish for the day for the Kiwi/American Scott McLaughlin.
Heartbreak for Scott McLaughlin. As he is flying from that machine, he went for it. It just didn't work out.
In an event with the magnitude that is this Freedom 250 Grand Prix, anything besides a win just won't do.
So indeed, we weren't done with the last of the caution flags. AMR safety team looking to repair that tire pack and the wrapping that goes around it as part of the safety measures. There they are, hard at work, very good at what they do, and very expediently repaired. And the accident scene will be cleared now at the other end of the main straightaway, removing the Scott McLaughlin car with the help of Wrecker after the suspension damage to that machine. Repositioning Felix Rosenquist's car toward where he belongs among the lead lap machines. And so we'll line him up and do it again. And still a lot of racing left to go. 17 of the 16 laps to go when the leaders come to the finish line this time.
Certainly Kyle Kirkwood will put that restart in that memory bank and not do that again.
He went pretty late in the restart zone. That was the tactic that time. The restart zone starts back in turn 6. He waited till they were coming out of turn 7 to go. And like I said, just didn't get away from McLaughlin. So Scott went for it, knowing he hadn't been able to do anything with Kirkwood all day. And another look. Just, yeah. That's a pretty hard slap of that wall, too. And Rosenquist running over that safety barrier banner and just nosing in to the barrier a little bit himself.
I think that broke that rear end loose when he ran over it and lost control of the car. And unfortunate for Felix Rosenquist, who is having an extremely good day.
All right, so we're going to get him ordered up and get ready to do it again. They towed the Scott McLaughlin car away from where it came to rest.
Let's give you a running order quick while we have a moment. Kyle Kirkwood is your leader. Christian Lundgaard second. Will Power third. But it's Marcus Ericsson. Tippett Simpson in the top 5. Then Nolan Siegel. Joseph Newgarden. Scott Dixon. Ricky Kyle Collette. Alexander Rossi. They are your current top 10.
Pits will be open this time, though I doubt we'll see any takers among the front runners. So looking a little further back, 11th is Mick Schumacher. Very nice run for Schumacher after he started in the back row of the field in 24th position. 12th is Romain Grosjean. Graham Rahal 13th, Felix Rosenquist 14th, and he's the last one on the lead lap. Cars a lap down or more include Dennis Hauger, Marcus Armstrong, Louis Foster, Pato O'Ward, and Christian Rasmussen. Alex Palou is 3 laps down in 20th. Then you've got Scott McLaughlin, Santino Ferrucci, 9 laps down in 22nd, and the cars that have been out of the race since early on, Regis DK, David Malukas, and Stingray Robb.
As long as Ferrucci can keep things together, he will gain 1 position as Scott McLaughlin out of this race. So if things run as stands right now, Santino Ferrucci could finish in that 21st position, barring any more incidents here on the race course.
All right, so go ahead and give everybody the opportunity to pit and come to the line and get the one-to-go signal. So one more lap and we go green flag racing once again here in the 250 Grand Prix. So the restart's going to come with 13 laps to go. And again with some 13 cars on the lead lap.
What's going to happen this time? It's going to be interesting. Kyle Kirkwood with a win thus far this year on the streets of Arlington. We talked about Christian Lundgaard. He won on the road course in Indianapolis and at Road America. The last time Will Power stepped over the top step of the podium was in Portland 1 year ago.
So lights are out on the pace car. It accelerates away from the field on 7th Street. And the field in control of race leader Kyle Kirkwood. The 27-year-old from Jupiter, Florida, a 6-time winner in the NTT IndyCar Series, second in the championship starting today. He will not take the championship lead, but he'll make a little bit of an impression into his deficit to Alex Palou heading to the final 3 races over the next 2 weekends.
We will have 13 laps to go when the field takes the green flag. Kyle Kirkwood a little bit quicker this time too. Green flag back out here in the streets of DC.
It's a gap on Christian Lundgaard of about 4 car lengths as they go through turn 1 this time. Everybody single file through the corner and accelerating down Pennsylvania Avenue. 13 laps to go.
Kyle Kirkwood out to a 4 car length advantage over Christian Lundgaard through turn number 2. Lundgaard there to about a 3 car length lead over Will Power for that 3rd position. The big battle, Marcus Ericsson, Kevin Simpson, and Nolan Siegel.
Stacking up there as they went into turn number 2. Now they work their way around turn number 4 and come off onto the best passing zone on the race course. The run up 7th Street to Independence Avenue. Kirkwood with a few car lengths on Lundgaard. Power clear of Ericsson for now as they exit the corner and race by the Air and Space Museum of the Smithsonian.
What a day this will be for Andretti Global. As it stands now, 1st, 3rd, and 4th. And Kyle Kirkwood stretches out that advantage over Christian Lundgaard. 1.1 seconds. Lundgaard there. The Power, Ericsson, Simpson in the top 5. There you see the battle for that 4th position. Ericsson has it. Kevin Simpson trying to take it away.
Work their way down Pennsylvania Avenue. Nobody able to make a move at this point. The braking zone, a challenging one at the end of this straightaway. Top 3 still in the same order around the corner as that race back a little further on. And we're watching there from 4th, 5th, and 6th on back.
What a drive for Kevin Simpson after crashing in qualifying yesterday, now running in that 5th position, trying to take that 4th position away from Marcus Ericsson. Ericsson with a fantastic drive throughout this entire day, started in the middle of the field and has driven his way up to that 4th position.
7th place changing hands. Scott Dixon getting by Joseph Newgarden. Now Newgarden feeling some pressure from behind. It's the rookie Kyle Collette into the braking zone at turn 6. Not able to make the move there as the track tightens up. Collette will follow Newgarden and continue to try and challenge for that spot.
That young Brazilian had such a great run going last weekend, threw it away with an incident late in the race. But Kyle Collette has been quick thus far in 2026, just hasn't had the ability to put everything together in these late stages of the race.
So looking at Newgarden trying to hang on to that spot as Kyle Kirkwood legs out again away from Christian Lundgaard. Kirkwood has led most all of this race. And, there's another look on the replay of Scott McLaughlin as he went for the move on Kirkwood. And caught the barrier exiting turn number 1 on the restart before this past one.
So Kyle Kirkwood through turn number 7. It will be 10 laps to go in the Freedom 250 Grand Prix. This time by the lead now 1.4 seconds. Kirkwood over Christian Lundgaard.
And Will Power drifting a little further back. We've gotten into that point of the race where the endurance, the wear, the difference in cars shows here as Kirkwood continues to try and extend his advantage. He has just not had much to worry about all race long, except perhaps an ill-timed caution. And got the lead from Alex Palou on the very first lap of the race and has barely been headed since. The closest challenge was on that Scott McLaughlin move on the restart before last. And that was at a point on the racetrack where it was going to have to really be something else for it to stick.
Oh, the fatigue that these drivers must be feeling with just 10 laps to go must be immense. Kyle Kirkwood through turn number 6, now turn number 7. Lundgaard still in pursuit as Will Power has fallen off the pace. His teammate Marcus Ericsson slowly trying to catch up. Kirkwood, Lundgaard, Power, Ericsson, and Simpson, your top 5, 9 laps to go.
You know, another driver to give some credit to on the day is Nolan Siegel, the young driver from Palo Alto, California, who's running in 6th position right now in that car number 6 for Arrow McLaren. His best finish in his IndyCar career is 7th. which he did in August of 2024 on the oval outside of St. Louis, Worldwide Technology Raceway. So Siegel in position to possibly get his best IndyCar career finish here in the nation's capital.
And Nolan Siegel does not have a home yet in 2027, as Scott Dixon will be moving over to Arrow McLaren. So too will Felix Rosenquist. So Siegel and Christian Lundgaard are on the outs as they currently run second for Lundgaard, and Nolan Siegel in that sixth position.
Across the line, 8 laps to go for Kyle Kirkwood around turn number 1. And headed up Pennsylvania Avenue again. The advantage is 1.1 seconds over Christian Lundgaard. Will Power has fallen 4 seconds back in third, and he's got about a 1.5 second advantage on Marcus Ericsson, who runs in fifth.
I will say this.
Fourth, rather.
And I'll say this. Christian Lundgaard's not done yet. He was pushing down into turn number 2. It was a 1.5 seconds. He's got it back down to a second, and if there's a driver that can chase someone down in the late stages of the race, that is Christian Lundgaard. He will be driving that Arrow McLaren Sheen for everything it's got as we make our way through the turn number 5 portion of the course. It'll be 7 to go this time through.
Lundgaard on the softer tires, the Firestone red sidewall tires. Kirkwood on the primary tires, the black sidewall harder tire. But it doesn't matter what tires put on that 27 car today. It's been the class of the field.
An interesting call from Brian Herta to go with those primary tires for this final stint. But when you need longevity, Kyle Kirkwood not only has the car with the speed, but the tires to go the distance here in this last stage of the race.
Alex Palou running 3 laps down in 20th place. Looks to be where he will finish, barring anybody falling out of the race within the next 4 laps. So Kirkwood and Lundgaard work their way now through turn number 5 and come down Independence Avenue to Maryland.
What a day this has been for the driver from Jupiter, Florida, Kyle Kirkwood, considered one of the favorites at the start of this weekend. Christian Lundgaard pressing really hard off turn number 7. Back into that car, broke loose on it. He almost caught the outside wall with the right rear. Managed to gather it up and keep it off the wall. But it's going to cost him a little bit more ground to Kyle Kirkwood. Dropped it a half second behind him now, and even 2 seconds is the deficit for Lundgaard as he presses hard to try and find some way to win this race. 2-second deficit for Lundgaard. Kirkwood has that advantage, and then it's another 3 seconds back to Will Power, and then another 3 seconds back to Power's teammate Marcus Ericsson. Agreed. Here's the stop, and the bit of a advantage, disadvantage you saw for Christian Lundgaard. Boy, Alan, he nearly touched that wall.
He really did, yeah. I wasn't kidding. And managed to somehow keep it off the wall. And not ruin completely the finish of his race here in the final 6 laps. Not 5 to go for Kirkwood. On board with Kirkwood aboard the Sam's Club machine for a great goal.
Well, that brief moment for Christian Lundgaard is put himself down nearly 3 seconds behind Kyle Kirkwood as Kirkwood continues to check out with just 5 laps remaining in this defeated 250 Grand Prix. What an amazing day for this young American driver. What did it mean for him to win in our nation's capital? The Freedom 250 Grand Prix. The young driver, Kyle Kirkwood, 6 wins in his career. 1 earlier this year on the streets of Arlington, first ever event there. And the first time here, the streets of D.C., a commanding lead, 3.1 seconds for Kyle Kirkwood with just 4 laps to go. It has just been flawless and an amazing day. At not one point in this race, with the exception of the restart that took out Scott McLaughlin, have we seen any flaw in Kyle Kirkwood's performance.
He has just been picture perfect all day long.
Exception of Grant Rahal leading on an alternate set of pit stops from laps 39 to 50. Kirkwood hasn't given up the lead on the racetrack under the green flag, except for when he got down the pit road for his stops. Other than that, he's been out in front of this race since lap number 51. Pretty impressive performance for sure. So 3 laps to go for our race leader now, bypassing again the pit lane and exiting off Pennsylvania Avenue onto 9th Street, wrapping around the beautiful National Archives building where so much of our nation's history is preserved and recorded.
What an amazing setting this has been. What a wonderful weekend it has been. Racing here on the hallowed grounds of our nation's capital. The NTT IndyCar Series, all of you great race fans have made this such a special event. As Kyle Kirkwood works his way down and through turn number 6, and now through turn number 7, 2 laps to go this time by.
So his final 2 laps around this streets of Washington, D.C. circuit. The dream that began back in January that came to fruition today. Fans still reading inside the race course. We see you out there watching these drivers fight out in one of their longest and toughest races of the year, celebrating one of his 250th birthday. In a way that is so unique, and NTT IndyCar Series drivers so proud to be part of this. Through the monument grandstands for Kirkwood. Back down to hang a left on Independence Avenue, past the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum. Under the Boeing Bridge now, the tough braking zone for turn number 6 onto Maryland Avenue and off onto 3rd Street. The white flag is out, and he's on the final lap. Kyle Kirkwood, 1 lap away from victory.
Oh, the celebration will be one for the ages. The American kid driving in the shadow of our nation's capital makes his way down Pennsylvania Avenue and through turn number 2. Kyle Kirkwood trying to claim his 7th win in his NTT IndyCar Series career. He's just a half a lap away from winning here on the streets of D.C. in the Freedom 250 Grand Prix.
Between the National Gallery and part of the Sculpture Garden, he rolls up 7th Street to turn number 5 for the final time. Cleanly through that tricky corner and down the straightaway in the final 2 turns. Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy awaits in the starter stand with the checkered flag in hand. He wins it for Kyle Kirkwood from Jupiter, Florida. 250 Grand Prix. Christian Lundgaard will finish 2nd. Will Power will round out the podium finishers in 3rd. What a day, what a drive for Kyle Kirkwood and the Andretti Global team.
Now the Sands truck crew come to greet their driver as they burst out on the pit lane. The American from Jupiter, Florida, and there's the ice bath for the crew. Oh, what a great day. History-making performance for Kyle Kirkwood here on the streets of our nation's capital, Andretti Global. 1st, 3rd, and 4th. It's Kirkwood Lundgaard from Aaron McLaren 2nd, and Will Power rounds out our podium today.
Our podium finishers coming around the race course to wave to you and salute you and celebrate with you. At the end of this spectacular day here, Kyle Kirkwood rolling down past the monument streets and the monument stands now right between the Stars and Stripes zone.
Well, the view of the grandstand, the fans have just been amazing all weekend long. They showed up bright and early yesterday for day number 1, and a big thank you to you for coming out and spending your weekend with us today as Christian Lundgaard makes his way through turn number 7, but you fans have been spectacular. Our hats off to you for allowing us to come and race in the streets of DC. The welcome was so overwhelming. We thank you for coming out and being with us and a part of this great event today. There he is, headed down the front straightaway. Kyle Kirkwood, career win number 7. Second win of 2026. Time to celebrate. Well, as he began that donut, had to throw it back in reverse, right out of a little room there. There you go. You know, the little drag got into turn number 1. Boy, he will be greeted by
Kyle Kirkwood. This moment, absolute domination. As an American driver racing here on the streets of Washington, D.C., Kyle, put this moment in perspective for us.
You can't even put it into words. This is incredible. I'm almost in tears here. This is a big moment for us. Big moment for America here, the 250, right? Big moment for Andretti. Big moment for Sam's Club and Honda. These guys, they're the ones that gave me the equipment and this car right here to be out there, to go out there and perform. But man, that was a hard race. 147 laps. I'm out of breath right now, trying to get words to you, if I'm being honest.
What was the moment like driving around here? I mean, the President of the United States, the First Lady standing right here watching you come to victory. I mean, put it in perspective, driving around this track and being here in this moment with your team.
It felt good to dominate out there, I'm not going to lie. That was a really good moment. I'm a fellow Florida guy. I live up in Jupiter, so it's cool to see him down here and right here in this race. What an incredible place to do. You know, if you can't win at the 500, this is definitely the place to win. And I don't know if we're ever going to get another chance. I hope we do. I hope we do. This was awesome. But this was, what a dream come true.
Congratulations.
Now the celebration's going to go on for a while. There's the strategist Brian Herda, Timo Dentalis. And this is one that they'll remember for all their lives, winning this race here in this